Hey everybody, today is going to be a bit of a discussion video talking about the nuances with handgun fundamentals, namely the military and law enforcement and some security industry based institutional doctrine versus other professional segues pertaining to professional competitive shooting and advanced shooter schools and application with tier 1 special operations and things like that when it comes to your pistols. So part of the issue is institutional doctrine in the military, and again law enforcement training and private security training in large, is pistols clear, no mag, no brass, nothing, is the principle of focusing on the front sight post instead of your target, letting your target kind of quote-unquote blur out. That's wrong. I vehemently disagree with that. I have been shooting, first off, both eyes open. If you're shooting with one eye partially closed or closed completely, you need to work on correcting that, for one, because both eyes open focus, you have better peripheral, you have better target focus and sight focus, and just better situational awareness all around, and it's just more effective for shooting in general. Okay, with handgun particularly, absolutely. So part of the issue is that blurring out of your front sight post, or the blurring out of the target and focusing on your front sight post. Largely that's incorrect. And that is older doctrine that I do not agree with. You need to retain clear target focus, clear threat focus with your vision. Okay, your natural body mechanics, natural point of aim are going to contribute, along with fundamental practice of accuracy and shooting, putting rounds on target, your effectiveness in engaging a target, engaging a threat, things like that. Okay, so that's it's a big disparity in the industry overall, okay, because there are a lot of certified and professional instructors out there that are still instructing blurring out your target and focusing on your front sight post. That doctrine does need to change and evolve, especially with the advancements that we have now, understanding body mechanics, your eyesight, and everything else when it comes to shooting and professional application. So presenting, focusing on the sight, engaging. Nice, slow, controlled trigger pulls. Now, if you want to kind of, let off and be pulling your trigger instead of that real gradual and let off past the wall and right back to engagement, you can do it either way. As far as your trigger goes, grip matters. You need to have strong left hand grip, okay? Proper left hand grip, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but proper, closing the gap, proper forward grip, at least with striker fire pistols. That's half the battle right there, because people that say, they're shooting low to the left and stuff, it's because they have weak, offhand grip. They're not controlling their pistol properly. That's another doctrine thing. Mainly here, though, we're focusing on sight and sight picture, okay? That's where a lot of this is going to come into play. That's where a lot of that is coming into play, with the fundamentals of how to engage a target and the fundamentals of your shooting, and then advancing and progressing from there. Again, both eyes open, focusing on the target, okay? The sights that you use don't necessarily matter all that much, because you've got your Glock style field goal post, very whited out, dot and everything. You've got Trigicon and other like fiber optic and tritium illumination iron sights and things like that. You've got your red dots. Some people black everything out, and everything. So it doesn't really matter what sights you're using. The red dots, obviously, you have to do some dot focus onto the target, And red dots do take a little bit of a learning curve, as I've slowly been experiencing with using red dots, because my entire professional career it's all been iron sights. So that's another factor in that, but largely iron sights on pistols, it's not going to matter. You need to maintain target focus and not blur your target out. The focus of what you're trying to engage over trying to focus on your front sight post. So that institutional doctrine needs to change, and improve with the times, and how we understand shooting in general, and understand how our bodies work, and your abilities with natural point of aim, closer range point shooting, as well as at more distance. General shooting standards for federal agencies, military, law enforcement. Law enforcement, it's a little bit more wide-ranging, but with federal agencies and FLETC and the DoD and everything, there are very strict and specific criteria and standards when it comes to pistol shooting. You're at certain distances all the time that you're doing your qualifications and requalification courses at, and everything from there, apart from going to advanced shooter schools, which a lot of the time, especially with special operations, outside of their shooter program, they're going to private companies for shooting school, for additional shooter school training, private contractor companies, and other professional USPSA shooters and things like that are instructing SOF to shoot, how to shoot better with their pistols. So that's where that bridging, and that's where some of that continuity comes into play with pistols. So again, focusing on your front sight post and letting your target blur out is not the best way to shoot and to effectively engage a target. Okay, that can cause a lot of problems for you, actually. Engaging a target at range with a pistol, and we're talking 20 yards, and sometimes even farther, although generally most engagements are between 6 and 20 feet. Generally, those are the national statistics, from a variety of different statistical sources. There are target engagements that are past that at 20, 30, 40, 50 yards with pistols, 9mm and 40 caliber, because 1/3 of all law enforcement agencies in the country still use 40 caliber. Okay, so that's over 5,000 law enforcement agencies that still use 40 caliber, and almost half of all federal agencies still use 40 caliber. The other half use 9mm. Okay, so efficacy there too. Okay, so largely these statistics are coming from engagements between law enforcement and some private citizens, as well as federal agencies and things like federal agents and things like that. 6 to 20 feet, and then some other engagements, but it's almost all 9mm and 40 caliber when it comes to pistols. So understanding how to shoot with whatever caliber you're using, how to shoot your pistol at varying ranges of targets up to and past 20 yards is important, and you need to have target focus. Okay, not necessarily front sight focus. At those farther ranges, your iron sight focus is going to matter a little bit more, but you still need to, with both eyes open, keep a clarity of focusing on your target. Okay, it's such an important thing here. Okay, all of my pistol qualifications, requalification shooting, when it came to contracting and everything, I was always shooting in the top 10%. Okay, and I've been doing that for 15, 16 years now. Always in the top 10%. Why? Because I shoot both eyes open and I do target focus instead of front sight focus, completely contradicting what the instructors were teaching. And there was a lot of ex-law enforcement instructors and things like that, that ended up being the instructors for certain contracts. I'm a pretty good shot anyway, but having good proper training, both eyes open, primarily target focus, over your front sight post focus is going to make you a more accurate and effective shooter in the long run. Okay, so that's a lot of what I'm getting at here. Okay, so you need to practice your fundamentals, proper grip, control, and firing of your pistol, proper control of your pistol, proper sight alignment and target engagement of your targets. Okay, both eyes open, target focus. Do a little bit of iron sight, a little bit of sight focus. Okay, but it needs to primarily be target focus. Okay, so practice your fundamentals, practice your trigger control. Make sure that your offhand, whatever hand it is, make sure your offhand you have proper grip and control of your pistol, so you're accurately hitting center mass, T-box, whatever. Okay, and primary target focus. Okay, yeah, that's really the discussion here with this. So some of the institutional doctrine when it comes to military, private security, and law enforcement needs to progress with the advancements that we made with understanding the body and effective professional shooting techniques and tactics. Okay, so that's really the big thing here. So again, the dot here on the back plate, that's a quick acquisition dot for close in range, you know, basically point shooting, where you don't really have time to do any kind of sight alignment or anything. You're just aiming at the chest and firing. That dot is directly in line with your barrel. Okay, so straight shots. Apart from that, again, primary on target focus. Do a little bit of sight focus, but primary, it's going to be your target focus. Okay, and that needs to be that way. And keep both eyes open. Okay, so practice that too. If you just instinctively go to closing one eye, whatever eye it is, you need to work on that a little bit. Okay, and also work on scanning. Okay, drills with engaging the targets and your scanning. Okay, that's why keeping both eyes as open is good, apart from having better peripheral. Okay, so a lot of fundamentals here, but there's a disparity in the doctrine that's being taught both at a fundamental and at advanced level in professional capacities. So it needs to become more cohesive. There needs to be more continuity there, and you will be a more effective and accurate shooter when you have marginally or primarily more target focus than your sight focus for engagements up to 20 yards. Okay, standard pistol engagements and qualification courses. Okay, so work on those things apart from your fundamentals, your trigger control, grip of your pistol, all of that stuff, both eyes open. Work on your target focus and your sensory and visual awareness of everything going on around you. Okay, it's a full comprehensive package, and it does take a lot of time and practice. So practice, practice, practice. Train, train, train. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. Okay, so I'm not going to draw this video out any longer than it needs to be for that, so I'll leave it here at that. Okay, so remember those fundamentals, work those fundamentals. Anybody that's a professional is because they have mastered their fundamentals, okay, and have advanced those. So you need to work on your fundamentals and build back up again. Okay, again, a lot of institutional doctrine out there that is not as effective as other parts of professional application doctrine. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. Loving the Synchron holster. I will leave it at that for everyone. So just remember those things and practice those things. Okay, if you're doing a lot of pistol shooting or you're going to be carrying a sidearm, kind of important to be able to refine and not perfect, but master those skills. Okay, so I will leave it at that for everyone. Metal up, out.